How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome to the Geek Critique Show. My name is Dakota, and that is Luna. She is far too comfy to kick off the couch right now, so I'm going to let her stay, at least until she wants to get off the couch, and hopefully she doesn't knock over any equipment. We have an interesting topic today. I asked you guys on Twitter what today's video topic should be, whether it be Marvel TV shutting down or Star Wars actors dissing The Last Jedi. And 18 of you have voted so far. Marvel TV shutting down, 78%. So let's talk about that. We're going to be talking about two different articles that came out this week. One is from the Playlist, and the other is from The Hollywood Reporter. What I want to get across with this video is my thoughts on where the canonicity of the Marvel television shows lies in the MCU now that Marvel TV is closing. And I'm going to try to take a balanced viewpoint on it all because I am a huge fan of Marvel Studios. I've made an extremely large timeline on the topic. You got anything to say? And I'm also a fan of Marvel TV. They've done some excellent work in the past. They've flopped quite a few times, but just as many times they've hit the ball right out of the park. I understand where Marvel's coming from, but I also understand the cries of the fans of Marvel TV shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, all of that, because they're all going to be coming to a close. Some of them planned, some of them are being canceled early, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later as we go along. Let's get into the article. This article from the Playlist, written by Charles Barfield, begins, "In 2020, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is expanding in a big way. With the introduction of Disney+, Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige has finally found a platform that will allow him to tell stories from the MCU on the small screen, using all the actors and money he's used to with his film productions." What I think is happening with Disney+, and I think it's really cool, is that Kevin Feige is now in a position to say yes to more projects that he normally would say no to, and I think that's what the Disney Plus shows are going to be, essentially elongated versions of films that are pitched to him that he wants to say yes to, but probably aren't viable for theaters, because they're either based on B-list actors or they don't fit the general narrative that he wants to push with the films. I think if we were introduced to Disney Plus earlier on the timeline, I think Ant-Man would have probably been on Disney Plus, just because it's not necessarily a viable film, and it's kind of a niche audience too. And speaking at CCXP in Brazil via Omelette, the Marvel boss explained why this is a huge step for the future of the studio. "After Endgame thinking, what can we do next?" said Feige. "Disney Plus is going to give us this opportunity to tell even deeper stories with the characters you already know and love, in a type of cinematic way that we haven't done before. We've already started shooting 2 of them, and they're very, very special. Those 2 being The Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well as WandaVision." He added, "And it all for the first time will interlink. So the MCU will be on your TV screen at home on Disney Plus and interconnect with the movies and go back and forth. It's exciting to expand the MCU into even bigger and better heights." Before I speak on what my thoughts are with the interlinking comments, which I find exciting, I want to read what the Playlist inferred from his comments. "If you stop and listen really hard, you can hear the cries from the cast of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Netflix Defenders universe, Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, Inhumans, and the various other Marvel TV shows that spawned from the MCU but have never been fully embraced by Feige." What the Playlist is implying that Kevin Feige is stating about the Disney Plus series is that they are the only shows to interconnect with the MCU, meaning that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Defenders series and all the other shows that they listed were never canon or were never connected. And if they were connected, it was one-sided. The films very, very rarely ever. In fact, I can really only think of one scenario where the films connected with the shows, and that would be Agent Carter. Besides that, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. often referenced stuff from the MCU, but it wasn't interconnected in the sense that the films also referenced Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and vice versa. Daredevil Season 1, as well as Luke Cage Season 1 and Jessica Jones, they often, not often, but they do occasionally reference the MCU films, like we have Jessica Jones asked if she's friends with Captain America, or the setting in Hell's Kitchen in Daredevil is 2 years after the invasion of New York, the Battle of New York. And there goes Luna. Get your butt out of my face, girl. Careful not to... Oh, she found herself trapped. This way, girl. But yeah, those shows actually never interconnected with the films because the films never referenced the shows, while the shows often or sometimes referenced the films. So it is a one-sided street with Marvel Television. And now most of those shows are canceled or are on their last season. Namely, Runaway Season 3 is coming out later this month, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 will be the last of the Marvel television shows. Notably, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started with a very slow slog of kind of poor writing, but it became better and better as the series went along, and surprisingly it outlasted every single other Marvel television show that was connected to the MCU. So whether this means they are not canon anymore, I think they still very much are canonical in the sense that they existed in this world that was created by the MCU. The MCU films never actually referenced the shows, but that never changed their canonicity beforehand, and this comment I don't think changes their canonicity now. It's just the first time with these Disney Plus series that they're going to be referenced back and forth, which is what Feige said. That's the way I'm looking at it currently. Obviously, you can look at it any which way. Until those shows are deemed non-canonical, they are canon in my eyes. Now let's talk about the big news this week, and that's The Hollywood Reporter claiming that Marvel TV division folded into studio unit, layoffs expected. First off, I love how non-clickbaity that title is, just because we're so used to clickbait titles and articles. So kudos to Leslie Goldberg there. Marvel Television has a new home. The TV arm of Marvel Entertainment is being folded into the Marvel Studios group. Current development, Hulu's slate of animated comedies, and live-action drama, Hellstrom, will remain on course. However, no further development will come from the unit overseen by Jeph Loeb. The exec, who launched Marvel into live-action scripted TV originals as head of Marvel Television, will remain on board during the transition. It is unclear when Loeb's last day will be. His departure from Marvel has been expected since late October. Late October being when Kevin Feige was bumped up to having creative control over all of Marvel publishing, Marvel Television, Marvel movies and such, which is a huge step forward for that producer. He probably is already known amongst the greatest producers of all time because of his work with the MCU, but that will kind of just strategically place him to be basically the leader of what's going to be coming down the pipe with all of Marvel, including the comics. What I appreciate about this article is that it almost seems as though he's sinking with his ship. Jeph Loeb being the head of Marvel TV. I don't want to discredit his accomplishments as a producer for television because he has actually done some incredible work with some of the series that they've produced. I just wish he got along with Kevin Feige a little bit more to make that more interconnected feel for the MCU that we all are craving. Marvel TV Senior VP, Current Programming and Production Kareem Zreik and members of his team will join the Marvel Studios group. He will continue to oversee current projects in production. Layoffs are expected to come as select roles will be eliminated in the near term as a result of the reduction in volume. Sources say a couple dozen employees will be let go from the company. That's kind of scary for those employees, especially if they most likely do love their jobs because they're working for Marvel, of all things. But from a creative standpoint, this folding in of that division into the production of Disney Plus series will help the Marvel Studios brand, the MCU brand, going forward into being something more akin to what the Marvel television shows should have been from the get-go. I just wish it happened sooner. And I wish Marvel had taken more liberties with, extending an olive branch to their Marvel television division. So yeah, I do feel bad for Jeph Loeb and what we had with Marvel television. I will look back on this period of the MCU very fondly. Maybe not very fondly. I guess it depends on what we're going to be getting with Disney Plus. If The Mandalorian is anything to go by in terms of quality of content, this folding in of Marvel Television into the Marvel Studios brand may be easier to overlook in the years to come, but we'll see. I really hope some of the stories aren't totally discarded. I hope that with Ms. Marvel, we get some inclusion of some of the previous characters like Quake from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and some of the other Inhumans, because Ms. Marvel is an Inhuman. That being Kamala Khan. And I hope they don't retcon all of that, because that would mean all of those years of canon content is no longer canon. We have a new patron in Rebecca Crow. Thank you so much for your contribution. If you guys want to help us out, please visit patreon.com/geekcritique if you want to help us out monetarily, that is. And it really is super helpful in this time because I got laid off from my job last week, so I'm a little bit worried about that, but I want to do the best I can with this channel. So if you want to support the content that we're creating, please visit us there for more information on me being a full-time YouTuber for the time being. You can check out that video right there. Thank you guys. Have a good one.